But we're doing it in a way that we're trying to get everyone on board and follow suit to make the reptile industry better.
What's up, Coil Crew? Today we are with G.I. Joe from Reach Out Reptiles. Joe, tell us a little bit about your role here at Reach Out Reptiles.
So I'm the sales facilitator. I just make people's dreams come true, and I shop with their wallets.
Nice. So what's your favorite morph? I know you've got a pretty big collection yourself.
Yeah, so everything I do is going to revolve around the snow gene. I mean, I love it, but probably the favorite one's my Annery Motley Tiger.
The Peaches. Peaches is ridiculous, man.
Yeah,
so awesome, man. So how long you been working here for?
I just came on full time in March.
March. So in terms of the super dwarf market, what do you kind of foresee over the next 3 to 5 years?
So I think that we're going to get higher and higher percentages. They're going to go lower in price because it's going to become what people want as a standard. But I think that the new morphs are going to be constantly worked in. I think we're going to find new combos that are going to work well together too. And we got a lot of people getting ready to work ocelot. We're getting ready to work pieds. The first double het albino pieds are out, for hets.
Crazy.
So I mean, I think that the market has got still a ton of room for growth, while I think leveling out to a point where everybody that wants one is going to be able to afford one as a pet.
And then I kind of see the same thing. There's so much potential and there's so much room to grow and to continue to build off the legacy that what we find today here in Reach Out Reptiles, which is really, really cool. And I feel like a lot of people come to you guys because of the name, the household name that Garrett has kind of built, but also just the overall culture and community that you guys have as well. What would you say is kind of the number one piece of advice that you give to potential customers when they give you a call or shoot you an email?
The key is that we're retraining a customer to understand that this snake should be a household pet forever. It shouldn't be feeling like a simple transaction where the snake's expendable. We don't do priceless, right? We do, you get questions, there's 5 questions, and then those questions start to evolve, and we figure out what each individual person wants. When I do sales, I'm not a sales manager, I'm a sales facilitator. I facilitate finding what someone wants and then giving them those options that we have that will fit that. And it becomes a much more, I think, intimate experience between you and your customer, where they don't feel like they ever want to give that snake up for any reason. And the ones that have, and the customers that have had to, the first person they call is us, like, hey, is it possible?
Sure.
Because they have that reason and that connection with, Garrett and the company, as well as that snake, and it all becomes a big tie-in. And I think the more that we can get the reptile community as a whole to move to that, the less that we're going to have issues such as dealing with USARK's dealing with right now in Congress. Those aren't going to become as big of an issue because that stigmatism that these are a throwaway animal is going to go away.
Right.
And they're going to have just as much care as a dog or a cat.
That's great. And kind of how I view you, and obviously I've worked with you and buying animals from you guys as well, is kind of that matchmaker, right? You're taking in what the client's giving you and you're really trying to dig and find out, okay, what do they really want? What are their goals? What are their pain points right now if they have current animals, right? What are they looking to do in terms of long term? Are they just a hobbyist that wants to keep a few animals? Are they looking to breed? Like, you're thinking, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, which I think is important for most people, because a lot of people start off with one, they get hooked, they get obsessed, and then they're like, okay, how do I kind of plan this out so that it's a good strategy long term? Right. And you probably have a lot of those conversations, right? So what's kind of your process, right? Because obviously you guys have your emails and some different things there. How can someone purchase an animal from Reach Out Reptiles?
So the easiest way is starting a conversation through email, info@reachoutreptiles.com. That's where a majority of my conversations with people start. And then it hits a point where I'm usually giving them a phone call and, we get into a deeper discussion. But, it's the easiest way to, get a hold of me. You can also call me or text 412-925-1933.
Perfect. Well, and it's really interesting too, because there's a lot of breeders in the industry, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different kind of sales processes, and people have websites, people sell on Morph Market. So what have you found? What's the benefit, or what's kind of the pros to having it set up that way to where they're going through someone like yourself?
I see a better appreciation for the overall sales system that's got to happen, right? Customers are like, when I come back and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, we don't do a availability list like a lot of our other breeders. You know, I want to give, and then I explain why. Like, I want to give you an experience that you will appreciate, and we want to find you the right animal. And so when then they're come back and they're like, wow, I really like that. That's something different. And that's the kind of the premise that Reach Out has reached. You know, that's how we've reached the pinnacle that we're at, is because we are constantly doing things different than everyone else, but we're doing it in a way that we're trying to get everyone on board and follow suit to make the reptile industry better. Like, there's nothing that we're doing that is not out there to make the reptile industry better as a whole. And, you know, they say that imitation is the greatest form of flattery. So please, like, anything that we're doing that you guys like, do it, because we're constantly trying to make everything better about it.
And what would be your number one piece of advice for someone that is starting out, that's a new breeder, in terms of business strategy or marketing? I mean, what would you say, what's the key to success you think after working here?
The key to success with if you're gonna breed is figure out what project it is you like, and then, like, you're gonna see a ton of other pretty stuff. Don't deviate, because if you have a goal, right, hit that goal first, and then with snake money in the future, that's where you start to add those pretty projects that are like, hey, I like that. But sometimes you just got to admire something from someone else's collection. So figure out what it is that you want to chase, figure out a dollar amount that you are comfortable being able to spend on that, and then let's talk, because I will help piece together that package that will make it work. With Super Dwarfs, I tell everybody, you know, they come initially with the fired up in that thought process, like, I need a pair or I need a trio. Time out. Like, I'm telling you, if you can divert some of that money that you were ready to spend on 3 and put it into 2 or 3 females, and wait
Right.
2 to 2.5 years, you're gonna get more money, or more male for your money at that point, that's gonna pair up with these females. So if you do that, I believe, like, that's the start to success. You gotta, and then you just have to stay focused, because that, it's always easy, like, especially if you're doing like 3 to 5 snakes, that's easy to take care of, right? And then you go full tilt like I did, and in 2 years I'm housing 50 snakes, and you don't realize that it almost becomes literally a second job. Then you have to make sure that you don't get so fed up with it, working 2 jobs, that you hit burnout and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, because this is not a get rich quick. It's not that you can't make money in Super Dwarfs, but they take time to age, especially the females. So you have to have that patience. You have to have a love and care. So that's why I say, find the project you want to do, because you got to enjoy looking at that female for 4 to 5 years before you reap any benefit.
Right.
So that's my best advice, is like, slow down, listen. You know, if anything that me, Garrett, or anybody says, you know, you've got questions about, hit up the other breeders and stuff and verify it. Because I think the only way that everybody's gonna come to their own conclusion of who they trust in the industry and stuff, and that's part of it. So when you figure that out, then don't try and fight with everybody. Just follow your logic, follow your science, and see if it works for you.
Right. So don't ostracize yourself and start attacking other breeders and customers, is what you're saying, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Don't do that. Trust me. A lot of these people have been around a long, long time, and they're just, you know, you're not gonna make it, you know, very far if you do, and it just doesn't help the industry at all. Like, we should come together.
No, it really doesn't. One last question: if you could have a recessive morph in a Super Dwarf today, what would it be?
Blue hypo.
Ooh, blue hypo's crazy.
That's my next one. I like Ocelot, and everybody's going crazy over it, and I'm excited for the people that got him. You know, Aubrey did a great job, and I got to see him in person. And I thought about it, but I was like, no, I want to try something different. So blue hypo's probably the next thing on the horizon.
No, that's awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate your time today, Joe. We're excited to continue to see the expansion of Reach Out Reptiles.
Yeah.
Grateful for you. Thanks for everything, and we'll catch you next week.
Take it easy.